I'm gonna start working on the oil pan. I gotta get these bungs. I gotta get them welded into the pan. This is gonna be for the oil return for the turbos. So all I have to do is I gotta drill the holes, and I'm gonna take this to a fab shop and get it welded up. I don't have the ability to weld the aluminum, so I'm gonna take it to someone who does. One problem, all I did was I put some white paint on the end of these bungs while the motor was still in the car, and I just went underneath and just pressed it up against the side of the pan so it left the imprint on the pan where it works. It wasn't until I got the pan off that I noticed that there's webbing on the inside on this side that's right pretty much in the middle of that white circle. The other side's not so bad. Like, the other side's not bad at all. It's gonna miss it completely. But this side, I'm gonna have to just cheat it forward a bit, pretty much right to the corner here, and that'll miss the webbing on the inside. And I hope it doesn't interfere with anything when it's in the car. I think I'll be okay. I think my motor mount, I believe, is right here on the motor. I do have accessories up front, but I think I'm okay. I think I'm in the clear. But I'm gonna get these holes drilled, and we'll get this thing sent off and welded. So I don't have a bit to go large enough to drill that hole, but what I do have is a couple step down bits. So I'm gonna see which one works the best. Basically just gonna work my way up. It's aluminum, so it's really not that hard to drill, but we're asking a lot of these step bits, I think. Doesn't get much easier than that. So that'll work really good. It's perfect. As you can see, I missed the webbing. So that should work good. And the oil level, what I did was when I took the pan off, I took the oil that I drained out of it, sat the pan on the floor and put the oil back in, because I wanted to see where the oil level was. Because I was afraid that whether this was going to dump off below the oil level, and I didn't want oil backing up. But the oil level was only like, it was probably about a good inch to 1.5 inches below the top of the pan. And when the engine's running, it's going to be drawing a lot of that oil out anyway, so the level's going to drop even further. So when the engine's running, my oil level is probably going to be down here, so I should be okay with that. I shouldn't have anything backing up. And I've seen other people that have put the returns in the pan as well, so I think we'll be okay. have put a bit in by now. That's it. Send it out, get it welded up, throw her back on. Easy job. And here we are, back. I sent it out, had it welded up. I had a buddy take it with him to work, and he had one of his guys at work weld it. Now, it did not turn out very well. The problem this guy was having, and this guy was an experienced welder, had lots of seat time welding aluminum. The problem he was having was the oil pan's porous. Like it's cast aluminum, it's porous. It must have absorbed oil over the years, and every time he tried welding it, it was spitting and spattering and getting all these holes in it. And no matter how much they cleaned it, they would take a white rag, scrub the area, and it would still come up black, like it's still pulling oil out of the metal. So it didn't look that great. You can see it kind of looks like Swiss cheese a bit. But this one holds. Like I screwed on my AM fittings. Like I just turned them up like that, and I filled the whole pan with water, and I wanted to see if it leaked at all. This one did not leak at all, but the other one did. And the other one he welded from the inside. He thought it might weld better that way. He tried and he thought it was better, but that was actually the one that leaked. So I tried something I've never tried before, and I'm not going to take it back to the guy and say, listen, I need you to weld it better, because the guy actually did me a favor. Like, he didn't even charge me for it. But what I did was, I've never used JB Weld before, but you see people on the internet trying it. And I mean, I'm just using it for sealing a leak, not so much holding it on. It's on there. It's not coming off. You know, like he put some weld to it, and I cranked that thing down. I cranked the that fitting down tight on it, and I mean, it would have broke off if it wasn't welded right. But there was a little bit of water seeping out around it, just because it's so porous, right? It's probably coming through a couple of little holes. So I just spackled on some JB Weld. First time ever using it. I feel like a bit of a hack for using it, but I'm just using it for sealing and not any kind of strength. And hopefully I don't regret that decision, but whatever, live and learn. And yeah, so those are welded on. I'm happy with the location. Now, I've seen some people weld those bungs in the front cover here. You know, I tried, these are my markings. I tried to see if maybe that was a good spot for it. I didn't like it. I chose the oil pan because when I've got the accessories on here, like the belt would go over this way. So if I was to put this hose on, I'm actually coming out like really close to the pulley, and the belt's actually going around it. And I didn't like that. Same with this one. The belt was going to be traveling up here. So I decided against going through the front cover, but I've seen other people do it and it works for them. That's great. It might work for you too. But with running two hoses out, I found I had more room, and you know, it looked easier just to do it in the oil pan. So that's what I did. I mean, no turning back now, it's in there. And yeah, so all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna swap out this, which is basically just like a blank plug for if you want to run a cooler. And this is where I'm going to get my oil feed for the turbos. I bought this guy. Holds 2 1/4-inch fittings for my oil feeds. And yeah, it even came with the rubber seal that goes in the back. Came with the bolts. I mean, I'm just gonna zip that off, put this guy on, and then the oil pan's ready to go back on. And I'm picking and choosing where I'm spending my money. I'm not gonna go and waste 60 bucks on an oil pan gasket, because that's pretty much what they are for this motor. It's just an aluminum, it's an aluminum gasket with a rubber seal on it. All I did, and I've done this before, and I've never had it leak. And I basically just took some gasket maker. Everyone's got gasket maker kicking around. And I just smeared the whole gasket with it on both sides. And that's how I'm gonna reuse it. I've never had it fail. You just gotta be careful not to put too much in this area. You don't want that squishing and going into your oil gallery, so you're gonna plug stuff up. So, yeah, I mean, save myself 60 bucks by buying a $6 tube of gasket maker. And like I said, I've never had an issue. I've used it before. But I'm just gonna swap this guy out, and then we'll get this oil pan on. And in case you're wondering, this thing's only like 20 bucks. eBay. Hopefully it works well. Seemed to be the easiest solution to the oiling requirement. I've seen people take these and drill them out and tap it, but then I would have to split that just to feed both turbos. But I mean, they make a product like this for 20 bucks. It's not like I'm breaking the bank to do it what seems like a more proper way. Done. It's time to put the oil pan on. I gotta tell you guys, this is the first time I've done a project where I've videoed everything I've done, and I love coming out into the garage and doing this kind of stuff. But you know what I've really disliked since I've been videoing is no music. And it's just been it's been kind of a bummer. So I hope you like country, because I put the music on because I'm not sucking the fun out of doing this. It's just like working out, right? Working out without headphones on. Screw that. So it's only like 18 foot-pounds when you torque these bolts down. Don't take much. Mind you, when you're going into a cast iron block, if you manage to strip these bolts or break them off, they're off the gym. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oversight. Oversight. Hold on, I can do this. I welded my bung really close to that bowl hole. But it's a good thing I'm not done totally. Lift the pan, screw it in a bit, go down with it. Guess I won't be torquing this one, I'll be wrenching it. But oil pan bolt. Some people just use a speed wrench. Don't be afraid to get something like this. This thing's awesome. So much faster. And as long as you don't bury it, you're not going to mess up your torque specs. I'm not cranking it down with this. You're supposed to start with the middle and work your way out. Can't do that one. I'll have to wrench it. So remember when I told you not to put too much around the two oil inlet holes here? You can see how much material squishes out, right? Like you can, when you use gasket maker, I could have let it set up a little longer too, but this is fine. But like you see how much squishes out, you know, I advise you not to use very much. But you don't want that squishing out inside your gallery, inside, you know, you're just gonna bung everything up. So, we're pretty good. That's it. That's all she wrote. Flip her back over, and then I'm still waiting on my push rods. And once I get those in, I have ordered them already. I measured them. I ordered them. They should be in next week. And then the motor's done. It's all buttoned up. But that's all for tonight.